Have you ever felt an ache or a twinge and thought, where did that come from? Maybe it's a stiff neck, sore joints, or random muscle pain, and there's no clear reason why. I'm Dr. Stacie Stevenson, and today on The Wellness Detective, we're investigating those mysterious aches and pains that seem to show up out of nowhere. These symptoms are often your body's way of sending subtle warning signs about stress, inflammation, sleep, posture, or even emotions. When you start paying attention to these clues, instead of brushing them off, you open the door to deeper healing and balance. I'm Dr. Stacie Stevenson, the Wellness Detective. Let's investigate.
Starting us off on aches and pains is a question from Essa. She writes, Dr. Stacie, I get random joint aches that come and go. Could it be inflammation or something more serious?
Here we are with the inflammation, and random aches and pains. Random aches and pains can definitely be caused from stress. They can be caused from poor sleep. They could be caused from low-grade autoimmunity. They could be caused from exercise, depending if you're overly exercising or if you're exercising the same muscle groups over and over and over again. It certainly can be a sign of more serious things like rheumatoid arthritis. That tends to be in the same joint, though, over and over and over again when you first get it. So on the balance, I would have to say occasional joint aches and pains are fairly normal. I hesitate to say normal because I want everybody to feel great every day. But life happens. You're moving, you're driving, your position if you're sitting all day at your computer. Ask yourself, where are these? Are these aches and pains really random, or does it relate to something you think you're doing in your life? Are you standing in the kitchen in the same exact spot and socks and and it's your ankles that hurt? But the core question you're asking is, could it be inflammation? It is inflammation. You're experiencing inflammation in that painful joint, but for some reason, there's some reason, and the reasons aren't necessarily super serious. It's probably the activities connected in your life: driving, computer, exercise, starting a new fitness program, even picking up toddlers and babies. Remember, are you carrying baby on the same hip all the time? By the way, you should switch. You should switch from side to side. Handbags. Women tend to carry their handbag on only one side, and guess where their neck and shoulder pain often is? It's often on the side where they carry their bag. So we always recommend, or a briefcase or your computer, if you're carrying something, you should always rotate if you're going to carry things by hands. That'll create aches and pains. Footwear, of course. I'm a fan of pretty shoes, but they're not good for your ankles and your knees and your hips. A lot of you are a fan of pretty shoes, and you come home with achy feet at the end of the day, but don't forget that can affect your knees, your hips, your ankles, your lower back. So I don't know, random aches and pains most likely are something in your daily lifestyle that you can maybe try to identify. We literally call it, do you even know you can get pain in your thumbs from texting? You can get arthritis in your thumbs from texting, and we're seeing it. We even call it texting thumb. So people are getting arthritis in their fingers from particularly texting. And, your neck down all the time at keyboards. That's going to cause shoulder and neck pain and mid-back pain as well. I mean, even a little bit. So you have to get your keyboard at your 90 degrees level, at your shoulder level, shoulders relaxed, and your eyes straight in the center of the screen.
Next question is from Canada. Dr. Stacie, I sometimes wake up with soreness to my shoulders and neck, though I don't remember straining anything. What could be the cause of that?
Okay, waking up with strain in your shoulders and neck is not uncommon. And the first thing that I thought of in my mind is, what is your pillow like? Literally, what is the support that you're using? How are you sleeping? What is the position that you're sleeping in? I also thought about your stress and anxiety, because just literally sleeping like you're tense and tense and tense and tense. Are you having bad dreams? You might be, because nightmares, if you're having nightmares or bad dreams, you could be tense about something or dreaming about the office or thinking about you name it. But my number one thought when you just said that was truly as simple as your pillow. You need a pillow that supports the curve of your neck, that truly supports that area of the spine. Typical pillow, even a firm or medium pillow, you're basically sleeping like this. You're sleeping with your spine in your neck compressed. And then if you're sleeping on your side, you could be really, really curling, and that's actually not good either. So the number one thing that I was thinking about there is the shape of your pillow having a neck support in your pillow.
Here's a great follow-up to that question with this one from Sandra. What should I look for when buying a pillow? There are so many to choose from, and it's overwhelming.
There are a lot. Mainly the foam ones, and they're all pretty much the same. I know they vary in prices a lot. You need to try it. You need to try it. You need to try it on. I don't know how to recommend that you do that. And if you have a physical medicine provider like a chiropractor, they should be able to guide you precisely as to what will fit on your neck, because the offices usually have multiple pillows that you can truly try in the office and make it fit correctly, because some of them do come in sizes. But on the balance, if you purchased most cervical support pillows and it feels like it fits you, it fits your neck, it'll be much more helpful than what you're doing. And so you need to support that curve and literally relax it when you're sleeping at night. Some people have advocated not even using pillows, because then you're actually creating a little bit more curve. If you get really confused about pillows, you literally could just roll up a towel and place it right in the middle of your neck, like a hand towel size towel. Truly make a roll, put it in there, and just find where you're comfortable and where you feel like your neck is relaxed and you're not tensing your shoulders. Because you're tensing your shoulders, chances are because your neck is in the wrong position. So I gave you two ideas: cervical support pillow or just using a towel, a rolled up towel. Oh, an easy way to do it.
Our next question is a short one from Rhode Island. Sometimes I feel my body hurts when I'm emotionally overwhelmed. Your thoughts?
Oh, my body definitely hurts when I'm more emotionally overwhelmed. A lot of you, I'm sure, feel this as well. I mean, I think every woman knows that. It's because the hormone cortisol is elevating under stress and fatigue, and it becomes chronic. And cortisol isn't cleared from your system very quickly. It's not designed to be cleared very quickly. And then there's also epinephrine and norepinephrine chemicals, that fight or flight shaky response where you're nervous and shaky. That's some hormones also that have to be cleared. It takes a fairly long time to eliminate that stress hormone. Cortisol is the main stress hormone. When you're emotionally having a difficult time, cortisol goes up and up and up, and your liver and your detoxification system literally just can't keep up with the onslaught of elevated cortisol, elevated cortisol, elevated cortisol, elevated cortisol. Elevated cortisol makes elevated blood sugar. Elevated blood sugar, of course, affects your sleep. It affects your pancreas. It affects how you feel. It affects how you digest. It begins to affect a lot. It creates inflammation. So elevated cortisol, elevated sugar adds to the inflammation, adds to this cycle of the emotionalism, feeling like you have a body fatigue. I mean, I don't think anybody doesn't recognize that when you're under a lot of stress, for some reason, what do you have often? Headaches, you gain weight, you don't feel good, you feel sleepy, but you can't sleep. And by the way, dreams can translate into physical aches and pains too, because you could literally be physically using your joints and muscles during your dreams. I have no doubt that emotional stress, you're going to feel it in your body. There's a reason we say things like, I feel it in my gut. It's real. You actually do feel it in your gut. Or notice how people say, I have a feeling that blah, blah, blah. I had a feeling of this, a feeling of that. You're feeling that emotional gut-brain axis. That's what you're sensing. And it's real. It's somatic. That's called somatic pain. Hope that helps a lot of you. Okay, who's next?
Kathy asks, Wellness detective, I get these eye twitches. Could it be something I'm eating or not eating?
It's probably not so much about, well, it could, it's not about something you're eating necessarily, but there are symptoms of magnesium deficiency, and their eye twitch is actually the number one, or little twitches in a muscle. Not severe, but just the really, really small ones. And actually your eye can just have a, we call it a twitch. It's simple as that. And it's almost diagnostic for magnesium need. It doesn't necessarily mean you're severely deficient in magnesium, but if you take magnesium and it goes away, that gave you a big clue to that was the actual root cause. That's a good one. That's usually an easy one to fix for a lot of you.
Next question on aches and pains is, Dr. Stacie, I heard that gut health can affect joint or muscle pain. Is that really true?
Gut health can affect joint or muscle pain. Well, gut health will create inflammation. So if you have poor gut health and a poor microbiome environment and you have leaky gut, that is going to trigger the inflammatory processes. And inflammatory processes could affect joint and muscle function and tissue. So is it a direct cause effect? Not necessarily. There are a number of steps in between, but they're there. They're definitely there. So I would, if you're thinking about it that way, I'd be focusing a little bit more on microbiome, environment, food sensitivities, getting rid of wheat, getting rid of gluten, taking your vitamin D, working with prebiotics, fructooligosaccharides, glutamine. Those are things you can add to strengthen your gut. It sounds yucky using the word leaky gut. It really means intestinal hyperpermeability. And now everyone's going to say, like, what the hell is intestinal hyperpermeability? So what is all this gut stuff? When you make an inflammatory microenvironment in your digestive system, and I'm speaking now more about what we're all calling the gut, which is the small intestine and the upper part of the large intestines. That is where the microbiome environment lives most importantly. When we've destroyed those, what the microbiome does is literally, it is a barrier. It is a protective barrier between the inside of your body and the outside of your body. And here's the funky thing. Your digestive tract is considered external tissue. It is sampling everything from the environment and protecting your entire rest of your body from whatever goes in to not get to the rest of the body. So the entire intestinal tube, essentially, from your mouth all the way to the end, is a very complex environment, and the microbiome is your protection. When you begin to lose that or disrupt that, it becomes permeable. Permeable means things can microcellularly or in very small amounts exit the gut, allergens, toxins. The microvilli in the intestines begin to degrade and not be as robust, which affects your absorption. And they are microscopic, but it adds up. It adds up and creates inflammation. It's kind of like, think about little tiny pinholes. Like if someone just took a little straight pin and put little holes all along your gut, and then you have literally this little bit of leakage. So we use the word leakage to sort of express the idea, but the real truth is you've lost the integrity and the protection of your gut to the outside world. And that's its main function, is absorption, digestion, and protection. It's part of your immune system. That's probably way more than you wanted to know when you asked that question. Than all of you wanted to know when you asked that question. What are microvilli? We'll talk about those another day.
Lauren asks, how do I know if these mystery aches are just normal aging or something I should get checked out?
Well, I think if you think the aches and pains need checked out, then you should probably check them out. Or if you want to do nothing more than check them out so that then you eliminate the possibility that anything is serious. But on the balance, I'm going to kind of go out on a limb here and say you might be worrying a little too much about sort of some aches and pains. Think about wear and tear. Think about what you're doing in your daily life. To expect to have no ramifications from your exercise or from your computer screen or from whatever physical things that you do every day, which I hope you do, from taking things out of your trunk. I mean, all of those things can definitely possibly give you bits of aches and pains.
And here's another for you. Dr. Stacie, I noticed more body tension after long screen time or poor sleep. Could poor posture or sleep habits be behind my discomfort?
Oh yeah, we haven't talked a lot about posture. That's an interesting one. You just said posture, and a lot of you think about posture. When I think about posture, I imagine all of our mothers telling us to sit up straight, sit up straight, sit up straight. Mine didn't have to do that with me too much because I was a competitive figure skater, so you had to do that all the time. But you do bring up a lot of good questions that all of you have about position of your body, sleep position, posture, being at the computer, sitting all day. We're not designed to sit all day. You know, one of the devices I do actually love to help you with your daily living and our sedentary lifestyle. You're going to laugh with all these crazy health things that are out right now. I do love the treadmill office setup. I love it. I mean, and even if you can just put your computer and just be standing up, and I also like standing and working. Standing and working is better than sitting all day and working, or varying the two. So I have a feeling that a lot of you sit at your desk all day, then you sit in your car, then you maybe you do sit at home, maybe you jump into the couch to relax for a little bit. I don't know, but we generally lead a very, very, very sedentary life. I love the tracking of steps. I think that helps people. I think the wearables should help all of you if you love those. There's nothing magic about the exact 10,000 steps, by the way. It's just a good goal. But we didn't study it. It's not some guarantee. It's just basically you sort of look at if you are relatively active. It's hard to believe that some of you are not doing a whole lot in your day. I'm sure you feel exhausted and busy, but at the end of the day, you're probably sitting a lot, driving a lot, and still a lot more than you realize, and you still are ending up tired. And another thing that I would add is you might even be exercising and still feel aches and pains. Exercise doesn't mean that you're not still sedentary and that you couldn't change some of the postural positions and things in your daily lifestyle. I want everybody to do their exercise, but it doesn't sort of make up or equalize for you to be absolutely sedentary. In fact, there have been some studies that showed it was better to be moderately active, up and about, in good posture, moving and working all day long, rather than complete sedentary lifestyle. In other words, only driving, commuting, sitting at your computer, sleeping, sitting on the couch and, working on your computer or watching television. If that was the majority of your life and you just threw in the 30 minutes recommended per day, 6 days a week, that's worse than, say, getting in the steps all day long and adding consistent activity all day long. It's always helpful to get in the exercise. I still absolutely know and believe that exercise in any amount, in any dose, does have an effect. It has a cardiac effect, it has muscle building effect, it has an emotional, psychological effect. It's almost the elixir. I consider exercise almost the elixir of life. I would probably sometimes select exercise over diet. I don't want to say that because now everybody will say, can I have the pizza and just do my exercise? And I'm still going to say no, but I think that gives you some understanding on posture. And with posture, think about also what you're doing in your daily activities, what you're carrying. You might be carrying and moving kids in and out of a crib or in and out of a stroller or in and out of a car. I make my toddlers walk into the car now and get in their own car seats. If I had to lift a 3-year-old into a car seat in a SUV, I'd die. I can't do it. I can't do it. I could do it. I don't know if any of you can do it, but I've trained mine to get in themselves. Once they could do it, like, get in that car yourself, crawl into your seat. Here, I'll buckle it. But you're going to get in it yourself. Cribs. Gosh, if you have kids, you're doing a lot of physical things that you don't realize. That hurts your back, gives you aches, gives you pains. You do the same things over and over and over again. That's difficult on your posture.
Let's keep the questions coming.
Dr. Stacie, my question is about posture. Is there any supplements I should be taking for a new mom who is lifting their child a lot?
Supplements to, you know what supplement I like for when you're just overuse and repetitive use, essentially, that you can't really change. Let's say a repetitive movement just exists in your job or your daily life, like with your child or with your specific job. And it's just something that you have to do the same thing every day. Vary it as much as you can. But if you can't vary it very much, I love glucosamine. I would take glucosamine. I would make sure I were taking EPA DHA because that aids in lubrication and anti-inflammatory joints. I would take magnesium. That will relax muscles and create less tension on joints. And I feel like I could probably add a couple of others, but that's kind of the holy grail. And it hasn't been in trend as much in recent years. Glucosamine and chondroitin. Mainly just glucosamine, along with EPA DHA, along with magnesium.
One more on aches and pains.
Here's the last one. Ella asks, Dr. Stacie, my body feels more achy when I'm dehydrated. Why is that?
Oh, your body is going to feel, all of you are going to feel achy when you're dehydrated. And in fact, if you haven't been drinking enough to the point where you feel achy and uncomfortable, you better just start drinking right away, like immediately. That's not a good sign. I talk so much about hydration. It is critical. You have to be conscious about it. I have to be conscious about it. I have to watch myself. I have to make sure I drink. I'm sure this is true for all of you. You get busy, you're moving, you're on the go. And even though we're all walking around with our water bottles, it doesn't necessarily mean we drink enough, right? Lack of optimal hydration is a substantive issue. Your coffee will create more dehydration. In fact, or I should say reduction in dehydration. If you drink coffee, and this one's difficult for me too, you have to add an entire cup of the same amount of water in addition to your normal hydration. So let me break that down. Let's say you weigh 150 pounds. So your daily hydration intake should be 75 ounces. So half your weight in ounces per day is what your water intake needs to be for average normal hydration. So that's already 75 ounces is about 5 water bottles, or it's the old 8 glasses of water, essentially, what your mom told you to drink. However, if you now add 3 large-sized coffees, for each of those, you have to equivalently drink another entire amount of that. So say you drank 3 10-ounce coffees. You now have to add 30 more ounces of water on top of your 75. So now you're at 105 ounces of water daily. Now you're at 10 glasses. I don't know about you, but that's really hard for me. It's also a way you can start reducing your coffee when you realize that by adding more, you have to add more water. Maybe that'll help you trim back the coffee. But it takes an enormous amount of hydration to eliminate caffeine. Thanks so much for spending time with me today on The Wellness Detective. If your body has been sending you those subtle aches or unexplained pains, don't brush them off. They're not meant to scare you. They're invitations to slow down, pay attention, and care for yourself a little differently. Here's the takeaway. You don't need to worry every time something feels off, but you do need to listen. Your body knows what it needs, whether that's rest, movement, better nutrition, or emotional support. If this episode gave you a new way to think about those nagging symptoms, please subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who might find it helpful. And don't forget, you can always send your questions to me at drstaciestevenson.com. I might answer yours in a future episode. Until next time, keep being your own wellness detective. Tune in, love your body, and trust in your amazing ability to heal. I'm Dr. Stacie Stevenson, wishing you comfort, clarity, and vibrant health every day.